Hey y'all, this is Mama TPG with One Love, One Light Tarot. This is your daily blind spot. This is going into figuring out what you don't know that you don't know. Alright, so let's see what the card of today is. And we have number 60. Alright, so let's see what this book says about it. Okay, I may not read the whole thing because it's kind of long, so I'll just pick and choose some parts to read. So these cards are called sigils. If you have drawn this sigil, you have fallen into the ego trap of superiority. Your ego's desire to see itself as better is clouding your awareness, judgment, and capacity to achieve what you really want in this scenario. The ego is preoccupied with comparison thinking. The ego is, after all, a self-concept, so it seeks to differentiate itself from others. We have learned that to be less than others in any way is bad, and that it leads to things that threaten not only our self-esteem, but also our well-being and ability to get what we desire. It makes our self-concept negative and makes us feel prevented from what we want. For example, if a woman wants to have a relationship with a man and she perceives herself to be less attractive than another woman in the room, she will not feel equal to that other woman. Her self-concept relative to her attractiveness will decrease negatively, and she will perceive herself to be prevented from what she wants. The amount of pain this kind of experience creates makes it obvious why we then begin to fight for equality, and even more than that, superiority. The human ego cannot handle perceiving itself to be inferior. It is a threat. It begins a subconscious mission to try to gain equality, and more than that, to become better than the person it currently feels inferior to. You will find any way you can to knock them off that pedestal or try to get on a bigger pedestal yourself. There's nothing inherently wrong with comparison thinking. For example, when it is part of healthy competition, it can even fuel us to do our best. But if we are using it as a tool that hurts ourselves or others, we need to let go of it. If you have drawn this sigil, you are being called to love. To love is to take something as part of yourself. For example, if whites took blacks to be a part of themselves instead of believing themselves to be superior, whites could not have enslaved them without feeling the negative impact of doing so themselves. Slavery would not have happened. When we love something, we root for that thing to get what it wants instead of preventing it from getting what it wants. We cease to be against it. You are also being called to question everything and consider every perspective in the situation so as to become aware of everything and arrive at a higher truth. Stop focusing on yourself in terms of inferiority or superiority. Instead of thinking, speaking, and acting superior, which is fighting for a person to see themselves as inferior to you, redirect yourself and them towards recognizing their unique intrinsic value. Okay, well, I didn't know it was going to go that direction. But I do see the paradox that happens. When you feel inferior, you begin to go on a mission of trying to make others feel inferior so that you can feel superior. So I think what Spirit is saying is, find that middle ground where you feel equality, where you recognize other people as part of yourself. So love them because that is part of you. We're all connected. All right, let's see if there is some cards to put a scenario to this sigil today. Okay, so we have the Nine of Pentacles. We have Temperance. We have Seven of Cups. And the Moon. Okay, so I definitely see, so it's basically saying that currently you're in a Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles can be about, luxury and, having worked hard, really looking around at your material abundance and really all abundance. But this is someone who's doing that independently, not necessarily partnered with anybody or sharing, what they have accumulated. So the challenge is temperance, and I think that's what this is saying. This is talking about balance and really recognizing that um, you need the light and the dark to blend perfectly in order to find that balance. So we will get some clarification here. So the advice from Spirit is Seven of Cups, and I feel like that it's recognizing that there's all types of choices that you make. There's things that you may put on pedestals, things that you may put yourself on a pedestal over, but it's about having love in all of these things. And the outcome is the Moon. So this could be, we could have Sagittarius here, Pisces, or Cancer here. And the Moon is really, for me, it is much about comparison, because you have, seeing the shadow side of things. And, you have a wild wolf here and a domesticated dog here, and yet they are the same, but they are different parts of it. And you need both. You need to, recognize your own instinctual way of operating, but then, recognize how that affects your relationships. Okay, so let's get some clarification. Why is the Nine of Pentacles here for the collective? And we have Judgment, renewal. So I definitely see judgment as being a big part of this. It's about making those judgments, recognizing that when you do think that somebody is superior to you, that's more a judgment of yourself than it is of others. And when you try to um, push or manipulate someone to feel inferior, that's really about your own lack. It's like so within, so without, right? So as above, so below. It's like everything that is around you is a projection of what's going on inside of you. So it says, review the past and the present so you can plan a bright new future, understanding your life purpose and releasing judgments of yourself and others. So why is temperance here? And we have the Ace of Summer, the Ace of Cups. Open your heart to love, the beginning of a new intimate relationship, or the birth of a current one. The awakening of psychic abilities or spiritual epiphanies. So I feel like, getting to this place where we can, see others through the eyes of love and understand that, there is equality, that we are all equal. None is higher than the other, because that is a part of ourselves. Even if you have to label things into good and bad, there is no good if there is not bad. How would you know something was good unless there was bad to contrast to that? And I feel like that's what the moon is saying here. So why is Seven of Cups here? And we have the King of Autumn, or the King of Pentacles. It says compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, gifted, be assertive when it comes to what you know is right, everything going your way, a good person or company to work for. So you may be dealing with a earth sign, or this could be you. So I see this dog here, which is this, it's like, to me, it's the same dog that is here. And it's like recognizing that shadow part of yourself that tends to do this superiority thing. It's like, it's not one or the other, it's about equality. And, you know, the King of Pentacles is a compassionate and gifted person. So I feel like even though he's accomplished much, he's humble and grounded, right? So why is the moon here? And we have the Ten of Wands. It says ask for help from others, all work and no play, being weighed down by too many responsibilities. Well, I feel like this is, what this is saying is that, you know, when you think in this superiority thing, you're setting yourself up for a huge burden. You're setting yourself up to fill shoes that nobody could fill, in a sense. So I feel like that clarifying the moon is about embracing, you know, your own self. It's about self-love first, and then recognizing that those around you are part of you. So love them, because that's about loving yourself as well. All right, let's get, how about divine, no, not divine doors. What do I want here? Let's do the indigo angel cards. What guidance do we have for the collective today in regard to this superiority? What's the guidance they need to hear today? Yes, compassion. It's compassion is really, you know, empathy and understanding other people's points of view, because if you look at it through the eyes of love and love yourself, then you will love them as well, no matter what's going on with them. Anything else? Any other guidance for the collective? Show appreciation. Yeah, so I feel like when you do that, when you show appreciation, especially, you know what I feel like this is saying is like when someone has a talent, or, you know, a special skill that sets them apart, recognize for them for that. Do not feel threatened by it. You know, recognize them for that, because when you spread that high vibe of making somebody feel special, then again, they're a part of you. We're all one. So that will also make you feel special, and that will also raise your vibration. Beautiful. Any last guidance, Spirit, for the collective? Acceptance. Also accepting that if you have been going through something that you didn't realize that you were, trying to make yourself superior in the situation. Accept that about yourself. Accept that, you're human and these things happen. But being aware of it is the first step. Um, and then going from there, like why, you can still soul search, but it's about accepting it and not beating yourself up over it, but make that change now. Figuring out why do I feel the need to make others feel inferior, or why do I need to appear superior? You are beautiful just the way you are. All right, those are the messages that came through for the collective today, your daily blind spot. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. And remember that the universe has your back, and so do I. Take care.